Hi guys, it's Gail with Gail's Southern Living. How are you guys doing today? Hello, Twin Brook Acres. How are you? Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
We're back
Um,
to having warm weather for today.
yeah. It's
Nature
warm.
can't seem to make up her mind.
I wasn't sure if you got the link or not, so I put it out in the chat.
Yes, no, I've been watching to see if it was going to pop up here or in the email, and I just happened to see the one in the chat first.
Yeah, it doesn't really come from my regular email, so it confuses some people. Yeah. So anyway, I have this awesome problem. It's called there were so many members on my channel I couldn't get them all on one scroll. So I had to make one and then make another one. So about halfway through, I'm going to have to switch. So
Okay.
hello, Garden State Gardener. How are you? So anyway, that's the thing. So anyway, I've seen other channels do that before, and I wanted to do it, but I haven't done it yet. So anyway, how are you doing today?
I'm good. It's been a busy Sunday as usual for us. I've talked on my channel before. We're a sniff spot location. So
Uh-huh.
people rent the property or part of the property for their dogs to come and run and be off leash and swim in the pond. And so for dogs that are reactive, to people or other dogs, it's a great place for them to still come and run and, have fun and burn some energy without owners having to worry about fights or just the dog being terrified or
Yeah.
having to deal with rude dogs or rude dog owners that don't watch their dogs when they're at the dog park. So weekends are very busy for us just because a lot of people don't have, they've got weekday jobs, and so on the weekends they're off.
So it's locals that bring their dogs.
Yeah, we do have a family that drives from Garland, so about an hour and 20 minutes probably from here, and they come every couple of weeks. And we've got another handful of people that come from like South Arlington, so that's a pretty good trek. That's probably 50 minutes, just under an hour to get here.
Yeah.
Maybe not as bad on the weekends because traffic is maybe not as bad for them, but word gets out. I think most of our visitors are from, within a 10-mile radius of us, Keller and Grapevine and North Richland
Yeah.
Hills, those areas. So it keeps us busy, and we see all kinds of different dogs. And
That's neat. Hi, Lori's World. Hello, Arielle,
hello,
Viking,
everyone.
Venture, and Victuals. How are you? I thought we'd talk a few minutes until we got some people in here, but I got my trusty questions. I decided to type them this time.
Whoa.
Handwrite them. Now it looks smaller when they're typed, though. It looks like I think it's just the same amount. It's just I write kind of big,
Takes up
maybe.
less space, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I thought I would do. I had done this before, but then I kind of ran out of ink, so I started writing it again. And I thought I need to type it. That way, when I do another one, I could just change a few of the questions that are distinct to that person's channel, but keep some of the basic ones still there. So that's what I kind of did. I kind of put stars next to the ones that had to do with your channel and left the rest blank that were, so I could go take them out and put different questions.
Okay.
But yeah. So anyway, I guess I'll get started here. If you're ready, are you ready?
I'm ready.
You're ready. Okay.
And she didn't give me the questions ahead of time, so we'll see what I get as it comes.
No, that way it's well, most of the time it doesn't throw people too far. Yeah. Okay, so how long have you been on YouTube?
I posted our first video on the 6th of March last year, 2021.
Okay. So a little over a year. So not you're doing good. Not bad. Not bad for a year. A little over a year. Why did you start your YouTube channel?
Initially just because we were posting the same kinds of content or some of the same kinds of content on our business Facebook page. We have Richkat Ranch is actually our business name, and we tend to people's horses and dogs and animals on their property. We'd done that for a while. Richard lost his job back in 2014. So we started up this business. We live in a pretty rural area, so there's lots of farmland, a lot of livestock, and we love animals. So it was just a no-brainer. Let's see if we can think of something to do to offer some services for animals. And so we would post videos about our animals and the animals that we tend to on our Facebook business page. And people would say, y'all should have a YouTube channel, which was really intimidating to me. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't really want to have to learn about it. But as we got then into, well, we'd been raising ducks and geese already for 5 or 6 years at that point when I posted my first video here. And I just, as I learned more about raising waterfowl and how many people don't know the right way to raise waterfowl, and so they feed them and treat them like chickens, which it's not the same. I thought, you know what? I'd love to focus on the channel about our flock and help people learn how to feed their birds and how to, how to do first aid for ducks and geese, because it really is very different. For chickens versus water birds.
Yeah, I have chickens. I don't have ducks or geese at this point, but who knows, maybe in the future.
Yeah,
hello, Ginger, Not For Nothing Homestead, and
hey, Ginger.
Lynette, Coffee Angel Crafts.
Welcome. And so, and I've never had chickens, but I thought, okay, I want to share what I've learned. Part of what I had learned was the hard way, because I was also feeding and treating them like chickens, because there's so much more information out there on how to raise chickens.
Oh yeah.
And I thought, if nothing else, then maybe I'll spare at least a handful of people some of the heartbreak of losing birds just because they don't know how to take care of them. And so
you probably get some good amount of views, being that you're specializing in something that YouTube doesn't have out there.
I would think so, but I guess now our content has just branched out so much more that it's not the primary focus really anymore. But after years of people saying y'all should have a YouTube channel, and then me deciding, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to teach people about raising ducks and geese. And so the very first video even was during the spring last year. We had a goose sitting on eggs. We had a goose working to hatch some. She was actually working to hatch some ducklings for us. So she hatched 6 ducklings for us Easter weekend last year. That same goose hatched 4 goslings for us Easter weekend this year. Anyway, so initially that was my goal. I wanted to teach people about ducks and geese, but just seeing the interest people had in the videos on our on our Facebook page about the horses and about the dogs and the turtle, I thought, I think it's just animals. We just want to share our animals. That's a big part of our life. Yeah. That's what a lot of our time and money goes toward. So I thought, why limit myself? I don't want my audience to be so small. Not everybody's interested in ducks and geese. And so it branched out more into just animal care in general and our rescue work and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I've seen you do that, and I've seen you had a playlist for cooking too. So I've seen that you have some playlist, and you joined my collaboration. So
yeah, well, when I then discovered the homesteading community here, because initially there was a whole lot more about YouTube I didn't know than there was that I did know. I'm sure that's true for all of us.
Yeah,
and so I didn't know a lot about the different genres or the different niches out there. And so I kind of just stumbled into the homesteading community because there's a lot of animal content on a lot of the homesteader channels too. And so as I was searching just for the kind of things that I like to watch, I came across a handful of the homesteader channels that are still kind of part of my little family here and part of my network here. And a lot of those channels shared recipes and vlog type stuff, and I thought, okay, so there really is more I can do with this. So I thought, oh, why not just turn it into, I still feel like a primary focus is the animals, only again because they are such a primary focus in our lives. We have a lot of animals, they take up a lot of time, and so I feel like that's a big chunk of the content we put up. But I thought, we're kind of homesteading. I have a garden off and on. I always grow my own herbs, and I thought I'll just try my hand at some of these other kinds of things too, recipes and, memories and, the not
It's
so.
a while to learn how to do cooking, how to video cooking videos. It takes some time, some effort, and it's taken me like a while, and I'm still not really great at it, but I try. Hello, Fifi's Journey. But I try to do that. I actually thought about getting a hot plate to sit on my kitchen counter where I usually take my cooking videos. That way the camera angle is always right there instead of over at the stove. It's a little more awkward over here at the stove.
Right.
The way my kitchen's set up. So I'm considering doing that, and it would be strictly for YouTube because I have a perfectly good stove over here.
Right.
But it's just, hello, our treasured home. Hi, Nancy.
Hi, everyone.
What state do you live in?
We're in Texas. We're near Fort Worth, closer to Fort Worth than Dallas, but we're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Fort Worth, all these little cities, there's these little fingers of the city that you're at one intersection and it's this city, but then you drive a block and then it's another city, and then another block, it's the first city again. And so we're real close to the border with Keller. So a lot of people know Grapevine, which is about 3.5 miles east of us. And then everyone knows Fort Worth, and that's about 3.5. 4
I was actually born in Fort Worth, Harris Hospital.
Yeah. So
raised in Abilene.
Yeah, so we're kind of between Grapevine and Fort Worth. If you don't know about Grapevine and you're in the North Texas area, you need to check it out. Visit Grapevine at Christmas time.
Yeah.
It's known as the Christmas capital of Texas.
Yeah, we might be going to visit there sometime, like during hockey season, because my husband's a hockey fan. So maybe if we do, we could set up a meetup or something.
Yes,
That'd be really cool.
say, let me know. And if you're going to be in Grapevine, there's all kinds of fun places to get something to eat or drink or. Yeah,
that's what we usually do is we meet somebody at a restaurant or something. So I did go to a meetup about 1.5 years ago in Pryor, Oklahoma, and then right after that met someone in Oklahoma City because we were visiting Oklahoma area, so we met someone there. Then this summer we went to Tennessee and we got to meet Joy Blessed Life and her husband Donnie. So we've had a few meetups.
Sweet.
So they're fun. I enjoy.
Oh yeah, I've really enjoyed the real life visits I've gotten to have from people that I've met on YouTube. That's really fun because there's a little handful of us that don't live far from each other around here in North Central Texas. So
I want to say Pafford Homestead lives over in there somewhere too.
Oh, I don't know. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, I have to check in. Nunya, Texas on the back 20 lives kind of in that area too.
Well, Byron at 12 Stones Ranch has been here. He's come for dinner and met all the animals and and then I have another, not a homesteading channel, Mind Forked, that channel. They've since moved to Oklahoma. They bought some land and they've got a house in Oklahoma now. But she used to live in Plano. So again, maybe 1 hour and 20 minutes or so from here. And she's been here and they had lunch with us and met and fed all the animals. And so I'm hoping for more real life visits from people that are close enough or are going to be coming through the area.
Yeah, we go to Dallas maybe once a year, maybe. And then my sister might be moving there, my younger sister. So if she does, then we'll be there more often. So, and my husband's already been talking about going to see a hockey game. So that'd be perfect because we usually stay a couple of nights and hang out and do stuff, and then have the hockey game at night.
He's a Stars fan.
He's a Stars fan.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Definitely.
I think I like hockey. I know I like hockey better than football.
Yeah, it's more fun to watch.
I might like hockey a little more than baseball. I don't follow sports really much.
Baseball's it's cool. It's cool, but it's not fun to watch.
Yeah, and that's why I say
the funnest to watch.
Oh yeah, there's more energy and excitement, I think, in a hockey game for sure.
Yeah. So Texas girl, I didn't even know that when I set this up. I didn't even know what your answer was going to be on that.
I was born in Dallas. I was born at Methodist Hospital in Dallas.
So we were born in neighboring cities.
Yep.
Neighboring cities. What day do you normally do your lives?
Fridays, always Fridays at 2:00 Central.
2:00. Okay. I was trying to remember. I was thinking it was during the day because I think I came out and hung out in one of yours. I just don't know when they are. That's the thing. I'm like,
so far
yeah.
it seems to be a good time for lives.
Mhm.
I have a little handful of friends and followers in the UK, and so that 2:00 time is not too late, for them because they're ahead of us, and so that way they can pop in and say hi. And I've had a couple of them as guests on the show, and again, so that way they're not having to be up till 2 a.m. if I did a later in the day. And since I like to do them on Fridays, I don't want to take up people's Friday evenings. If that's their night for dates or movies or concerts or whatever, then I don't want to set myself up to be without any viewers because people are starting their weekend already.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I've worked on a few time slots myself. Hello, sis at Freehandly Made. Hello, Good Times Homestead, Jen and Steve.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. Lisa Knits. As you can tell, I have a lot of different genres. I have some crochet, some homesteading, some gardening, some cooking. My life is full of a bunch of different people. I try to join a bunch of different communities. So if any of you guys out there have the ability to share this live, if you'll share that for me, that would be awesome. And Arielle and I are doing a Christmas collab, and I put
I saw that link.
Email to her in the top of the description box. But if any of my mods out there would go ahead and put up the link for Richkat Ranch for me, that'd be awesome.
I think that was a cat hair that I just got out of my mouth.
Oh, you have cats too, huh?
Oh yeah. We don't have, the list is probably shorter. We don't have a snake and we don't have a tarantula. Those are the two things I would love to have. Richard says absolutely not.
I agree with your husband on that.
Since he helps take care of all the animals, I do have to factor in, what his opinion is when we're adding things.
Yeah, that makes sense. I am in Melbourne, Australia. Oh, that's awesome.
Neat.
Yeah, I did a video on some of the collabs that were coming up, and the three collabs I was talking about are ones where you can win stuff. And in the description box, I linked the playlist because you can go and get in on all of those giveaways. So if you like giveaways, there's 3 links to 3 different giveaways that are coming up. Or well, they're going on now, and they'll be doing the drawing probably this month or next month. Some of them are they're different months. One of them is a Thanksgiving, and 2 of them are Christmas ones. So lots of collabs going on right now. And then when I made that video, somebody put out like 4 or 5 more, and I was like trying to check those out too. Like I don't need to do any more.
This is a busy time of year, though.
But one, if you're just doing somebody else's collab and you're just doing one video, hey, that's not bad.
Oh, yeah.
Doing your own is a commitment.
Yeah,
for sure. Are you participating in any collabs right now? Do you have any holiday collabs you're planning on joining?
I know Ashley at CNC Farm talked about a cookie collab. I think there are a couple of cookie collabs that are happening or will be happening, but I have not thrown. Is
CNC Farm? Is theirs an open collab or is it a invitation?
I think it's an open collab. She mentioned it when she was on my show. And that's the impression I got, was that she was going to do an open collab. You just hashtag it and reference the channel. But I just need to look into that more. And
I just found out about that one. And I need to get a little bit more information on that. Yeah. But I would like to do that.
Yeah, I want to do that one. That's the only one I know of right now. And then at our channel, I'm calling it a collaboration, but we have the Christmas project, the Richkat Ranch Christmas project.
Yes, I saw that.
And that I want to do. I think it'll be a little different. I want people to send me material. I want me to send them to send me pictures or send me little video clips, and we want to do a little compilation video.
So, you mentioned songs or singing or whatever. So you know how you can do the shorts with like a 15-second clip. Okay, so if you sang about 15 seconds of a song, you think that would they would let that
think
fly.
so. Well, and a lot of the old, like the Christmas classic stuff, I think a lot of that is public domain anyway. So there
Okay.
may be a lot of those songs, that Christmas Carol type stuff, that there may not be copyright issues on it. So I'll just have to figure out. And I know when I do my covers, when I record my cover songs, worst thing that's happened is that I have to, well, I've had one that I could still upload it, I could still share it, but I can't make any ad revenue off of it. The copyright holder just won't share the ad revenue.
Yeah.
They'll still
I've done a little bit of karaoke, so
Yeah,
I kind of know that anytime I do anything with singing, it's just gonna have to leave the.
Oh yeah, and I
off.
don't do it to make the money off of it. Music has always been a big part of my life, and so I wanted to share that on the channel as well. But most of the covers I've done, I just have to split. The ad revenues just split. Part of it comes to me, and part of it goes to the copyright holder. There's just that one song where they're going to make however much money ads are bringing in, they'll get it.
How would the person get it to you? So say if I made a little short clip of me singing or talking or something like that, how do you switch it?
You upload it to our Google Drive. So in the little video I have up about that collaboration, which is on my homepage, it's the little like intro video when you go to the Richkat Ranch homepage, and that Google Drive address is there. So you would obviously record it and save it to your computer, or if you're working with your phone, and then you just drag and drop that file into the little Christmas collab folder,
which is underneath your video.
Yes, it's in the description of the video.
Okay. All right. I went ahead and did a screenshot of that, and I want to write down the date, because with all these collabs, like I'm having to start writing stuff down because it's so much. Hello,
I have to set reminders on my phone, like an appointment on my phone, so that I can remember, deadlines for stuff. And
Fresh Start Homesteading, welcome. Moonsprout, welcome. Ruth in Georgia, Backyard Garden.
Yes, hello.
I have to slow down and say that one slower, or I'll mess it up. I don't know why, but yeah, I'm seriously considering that one. I did screenshot it.
Okay. So and again,
I've done one like this before, but I can't remember how I got it over to that person.
Okay. Yeah. Even if it's email photographs, I mean, I'd love to think that we might get some kind of vintage photographs, maybe people when they're kids, pictures of them when they're kids on Santa's lap, or pictures of their kids sitting on Santa's lap, or their dogs dressed in a Christmas.
Yeah, it'd be cool if you had like a black and white. It's like little Gail Southern Living sitting on Santa's lap, and then you have my Gail Southern Living right there, so it's me, and you're oh my gosh, that's so funny.
That's another thing too to keep in mind. Any content creators that participate in that, they will get shout outs in the video itself, and in the description of the video we'll be shouting them out on our community tab and at our Facebook page. So a little bit of networking opportunities there, but that's in my mind, that's what I'm picturing, is that we're going to get to see some pictures from people, and maybe hear some stories of early Christmases that they've experienced.
Hi, Nunya, Texas on the back 20. We were just talking about you, Nunya, Texas. Just talking about you. Yeah, that's the channel I was talking about that's over in that area. Let's see. Oh, I seen you had some traveling videos. So if you could travel anywhere you wanted to travel and money was not an issue, or time or animals or any of that stuff, where would you go?
France. I'm still waiting to go to France. It's on my bucket list. I speak French, but I have never been to Europe proper, just the UK. I mean, I've been to other countries too, but I always have wanted to go to Europe, particularly France. And when I was in the UK, our tour guide told us about she did a month-long horseback trek across France. And so they would ride horses through the French countryside, and then they would stop and camp at night, and there was a van that went along with them that had all their toiletries and there was like a little chuck wagon that cooked for them. And I thought, oh my gosh, now I don't want to do that now at this age. I don't think I could tolerate that much horse riding, but just to consider a nice leisurely long trip and really get to spend time seeing, I'm not a shopper, so it wouldn't be about going and shopping. I'd love to obviously see some museums and historic places, but just to, see the French countryside and visit some vineyards and maybe go to some wineries and
that'd be neat.
Things like that.
I wouldn't mind going on something like that. Hello, Sandra Moody. Fresh Start Homesteading. Let's see if I've said hi to everybody that's in here. Okay, now I was going to put up what she said.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in.
California is next on my list.
Yeah? Have you never been?
No.
Okay.
My husband was born there, though.
Okay.
He spent some time there, so he knows a little bit. But my mission is to see the big, tall trees that have the bottom of the tree as big as a dance stage.
Yeah.
That's where I want to go, that part. So that's been on my list for a long time. I saw pictures somebody posted, and I'm like, I have to go there to see that. So you talked about your animals. So you have ducks, and you have geese, and you have cats, and you have dogs too. What else?
We got a horse and a mule and a big red-eared slider turtle. She's behind me. That's cool. She's up on her basking dock even, but I don't think you can see it because of the glare. But she's right up here on this. Hi, Nancy. She's right up here.
Oh, yeah. I see something sticking up, but I wasn't really sure what that was.
They're getting her sun. I don't know if I turn off a light, if it'll. Oh, now you can kind of see her.
Oh, yeah. Now you can see her shadow. Yeah.
So now it's just her sun lamp that's on. I'm sorry, girl. I'm sorry. So I got to turn her heat back on now.
That's neat. Very cool. Yeah. I like turtles.
And then here's Bear. Bear, can you say hi? Can you say hi?
I might need to call and get some tech help from you.
Okay.
Okay, because I noticed I've been trying to add like some different links on my about page. And when I do, it doesn't ever come up right. But I clicked on your PayPal link and it went straight to your PayPal. And I was like,
okay.
I want to have one for like Facebook, Instagram, PayPal, just different ones like that. And I have not been able to master it. I even got my husband to help me, and he usually can do that stuff. But yeah, maybe I might have to call you about. See, I typed that in because I wanted to.
I might do, as people share that kind of stuff with me, that gives me an idea. I might do a how-to video on it.
That's a great idea.
I had someone ask me about how to do premieres, and then I had someone ask me about how to change the profile picture on their account. Mm-hmm. And so maybe I'll do a little.
I think everybody on YouTube who has even a little bit of knowledge about YouTube should all have a YouTube tips playlist. Everybody should have one. If you know even a little bit, just if you've only been on for 6 months, guess what? You probably already learned something.
And you know something that somebody doesn't know yet. Yeah.
Exactly. Yep. Or could be reminded of, even if they do already know. Yeah. Okay, I already asked about the Christmas project. Plus, I think right after I typed this, I think I actually watched the whole video. So now I know completely what it's about. Okay. There was a video about home cooked food for your dogs. Uh-huh. So what kind of what do you cook for them?
So my recipes are, it's important that you offer multiple animal protein sources. So I rotate out my proteins. There's typically some combination of beef, lamb, bison, elk, venison, pork, and turkey. Our girl Serena can't eat chicken. She's okay with turkey, but she can't have chicken meat. She can eat, again, turkey. So it's not just, poultry in general. And so I'll rotate those out. I'll always have at least 3 animal meats in the recipes. The recipes always have duck eggs in them because I have duck eggs available. And that's another great animal protein.
I heard they taste really good, but I've never tried them.
I'll never go back to chicken eggs. And I guess now partly our duck eggs I think are tasty because they're not wild ducks. I mean, they eat a poultry feed and they get corn and peas and carrots and green beans and blueberries and grapes and kale, and so they get a lot of good tasting stuff, and I think that impacts how their eggs taste.
Definitely.
So the dog food also has I always use ground turmeric in it. We've got a senior girl still, and before our two boys crossed over, they were both pretty much they were older than she is. So I just knew that would be a benefit for them in their older age. And then I like to add cruciferous vegetables. So I stick with broccoli and cabbage and kohlrabi and cauliflower. Sometimes I'll put a little bit of carrots or sweet potatoes in it. Green beans are really good for dogs. Yeah. And the way I cook it in the crock pot. Dogs have really short digestive tracts, so they don't have the opportunity to really break down food to get the nutrients out of it like humans do.
Yeah.
And so everything has to be as broken down as possible. Obviously, if you're feeding raw, that's not an issue, but raw, usually you're feeding meat and bone and things. You're not feeding veggies. I mean, I guess you could put veggies in there, but the vegetables just have to really be thoroughly cooked and broken down enough, or it just passes right through the dogs and they don't get any benefit out of it.
Yeah, and that wouldn't be good.
Yeah.
Hello, Mountain Maple Ranch. Chris Kaleidoscope. Welcome in, Stace, and Happy Acres Homestead. Hello. Do you have any plans for your channel for next year? You think you're going to start new?
So I want to start doing like an additional live. I'm still working on trying to get Richard to do lives with me. And I want to do something along the lines of what Life with Mountain Folk does. They do that little trivia, like the little trivia nights. Mm-hmm. And I'd love to do lives where we get together and play some kind of game or do trivia or have, little contests and things that happen live during the show. And so I do want to expand how many lives or what kind of lives I do. I don't have any other like project ideas. So much of the content for our channel, we just have to film it as it's happening. I mean, I can plan recipes and songs and things, but as far as the primary focus of the animals, I can't make them do something. I just have to be ready with the camera if something
when they do something
interesting is happening, or if there's a teachable moment that I can share.
Do you do shorts?
I do shorts. Yeah. I didn't start doing shorts until, I may have had a short here and there over the last, year and a half, but I really started focusing on shorts probably 5 or 6 months ago, only because I think I had heard enough people say that it can be a great way to get subscribers. Mm-hmm. And I thought, well, let's play with that. And I do have some shorts where, I might have like a 15-second short and I got 14 subscribers out of it.
Yeah.
So, wow, if that's how it works, if that's what people like.
That's how it works.
And now YouTube has this new thing where even old videos, you can create a short out of it. You can only do it on the phone or from the app. You can't do it on the computer. And I did that. I think I've done it twice now. The first time, I don't remember how many views it got, but just this past week, I did 2 little shorts from a duck and goose video from about 15, 16 months ago, if I remember right. Mm-hmm. They're only like 17 to 20 second videos. The first one, I think, got like 160 views. The second one is like at 560 and counting. Mm-hmm. And it's just, again, they're just little short clips. And the one that seems to be the most popular of the two, Mulder and Scully, our first 2 geese, they're just little tiny babies in this little 20-second clip. And I'm doing a narration about how geese are guardians of flocks. So you can add, newly hatched geese to your flock, and they protect the flock. They help raise the babies and they protect the flock. And so it's a cute little scene in this video. I had to just do short videos because the original video was filmed in the, the landscape view, the
Uh-huh.
horizontal view, but the shorts are in the vertical portrait view. And so in the original video, I had text that would come on the screen through parts of the video. And so these little clips that I pulled they're just little pieces where there was no text, because the text wouldn't, the wide text that filled the wide screen won't fit in the little skinny up and down screen. So I
Yeah.
thought, well, I don't want it to look weird if people can only see.
Yeah. See, I don't know. I've not done that before. Taken old videos and got clips out. I've never done that.
Again, I've only done it a couple of times now, but it really has gotten me some views. It's gotten me a handful of subscribers, and it's super easy to just, again, get on the app and just pull up some old video and hit the create button, and then it'll let you kind of move around your little section that you want to capture.
Uh-huh.
And then you just title it whatever you want to title it, and put text on it if you want to put text on it. And
to look that up.
Yeah. So I think it's a way. Now, I probably, if I wanted to be smart about it, I would have put something in the description that said, to see the whole video, click here. And
in the description box, you can go back to your short and you can add.
Yeah, I may go back and add that, or I might even add a comment. Maybe I'll pin a comment that says, to see the whole video.
Yeah, that could do too.
Click here.
That could work too.
That's supposed to be, when I heard about it, the purpose of it is supposed to be to kind of revive older videos.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
A lot of our older videos, it's before people even knew who we were, and so they're not getting watched now.
Oh, yeah,
People don't think to go back and look at your first month of videos. So
if I do a short of a recipe that I've done in the past,
and then link it in the comment,
and then I link it in the description box, that way, if they want to see the full video and recipe, they can go to that.
I would pin it as a comment too, because some people, if they just watch on the shorts shelf, if they're just looking at it, I don't think they can even see the description box. So if they're watching on your channel, they'll see the description box. But if you pin the link in a comment too, then it would just be the first thing they see if they go to leave a comment. So
that's a good suggestion.
Let's
I like
play with that, and then we'll get back together and see how it works.
See how that works. So, what is your Throwback Thursday videos? What's that all about? Hello, Organized Pineapple.
Yeah, these are just memorable moments or photographs or experiences that we've had. And since that whole Throwback Thursday theme is so popular on lots of different social media platforms, I thought, what a fun way to just share, our lives, just who we are as people and things that we've experienced that don't have to do with the channel, and they don't have to do with the animals. I think the most recent one probably still is our trip to New York.
Yeah.
Because I don't have, a lot of things that have happened, I don't have a video of it. I may have taken pictures. I do have plans for one. Our first camping trip together was to Dinosaur Valley State Park, which is about an hour and 10 minutes south of here. And we went for the Perseid meteor shower one August. That's our favorite time to go camping, is the middle of August, which is only bad because it's the hottest part of the year. But the Perseid,
that sounds hot.
the Perseid meteor shower is just a fun excuse to go camping when you're going to be out and can see the sky. And so I've got a lot of pictures from that trip, and I thought I might do a Throwback Thursday video with those pictures. And then I'll also have information just on the meteor shower and what meteor showers are, and talk about the Perseid meteor shower, and
how to see one of those. That would be interesting.
Oh, that's one of my favorite things in life, is night sky and stargazing. And
that's nice. I like, like we were talking about the hockey game. When you go to the hockey game, they do the big light show. That's my favorite part. It's like
fireworks on the 4th of July. Yeah,
it's like fireworks.
And my first Throwback Thursday video, kind of what inspired me to do the Throwback Thursdays, is that on Facebook, your memories will pop up.
Yeah,
you'll get the little notification that your memories for that day. And so, whatever day it was, the memory popped up of when our son Gerald came home from Afghanistan. And I did have a video of that. And I thought, oh, wow, yeah, I'm going to start a little series. We're just going to share some special memories. And some of them have been kind of silly and kind of goofy. Some of them have been a little more serious, but all of them have just been, things that were really special to us. And that, again, it helps people just see us for people beyond all the animals that we have or the recipes and all that stuff. Just
more personal.
Yeah, our relationship and our history together. Yeah.
So I have a segment kind of like that, and I started it a while back. I call it Gail's Tales, where I go back and tell stories about old. Some of them are happy, funny, sad. And I had not done one for a while, but I recently lost my older sister. And I thought what I might do is do one of my Gail's Tales where I talk about some memories about my sister. So I thought I hadn't done one for a while. I kind of it was just hanging out there. And I just thought about that. I was like, I want to do something cool for my sister. I want to do a few things, just in memory of her.
Yeah.
And so I thought of that, and I thought I'm going to write down some stuff, and I'm going to try to do a video either this week or next week talking about
That'll
my
be
sister.
special. Yeah. I really started appreciating the opportunity that YouTube offers us to kind of document and chronicle important people and important events when we lost our first German Shepherd dog in November last year, because I recorded once we got his diagnosis. I started recording the last days we had with him, which is not in and of itself is not as sad as some people may be thinking, because he was still, he could still get around, but he had a brain tumor and he had begun having seizures, and it came on really suddenly. This was an undiagnosed issue. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to just film every minute I have with him, because I want to be able to look back and remember him. And, so that really got me to thinking about just the blessing it can be for the content creator. Even if nobody else looks at those videos, those are always going to be special to me.
Yeah, they'll be out there for my kids and the grandkids and the grandkids, and they can look back.
Yeah, and I think it honors then when it's about someone that we've lost, even if it's a pet we've lost, it's a tribute, it's an honor, I think, to that.
And also those people know what's going on in your life. So if you're not watching videos as much or doing lives as much, you're not commenting as much, they know you're not off the grid. You're maybe just doing some grieving right now.
And there've been a lot of times that I'm struggling with something, and I will find a video on YouTube of someone that's struggling with that. And so it's nice also to not feel alone, or to even learn, how did this person get through it? What did they do?
There's a lot of people that lost their siblings. I would have never known if I had not put out the video about my sister.
Right.
Laura's Yarn Talk and Stace. Welcome in.
Hi. And I do kind of have an idea for something I'd like to try. I'm a big reader. And when my kids were little, bedtime, I always read to them every night. And I feel like they were the best behaved during me reading to them every night than they were the whole rest of the day. They were good kids, but they loved for me to read to them, and I loved reading to them. And I thought, I want to maybe start a new series. There are a couple of books and little book series that were very, very special to me when I was little. And I thought maybe I'll start a little series where I read parts of these books. And just, I know a lot of the people even that watch my videos have young kids. Maybe their kids will enjoy that. I was always, a room mother when the kids were little at school. So I was always reading to the kids. It was one of my favorite things to do, was read to the kids in the class. And so I thought that might be kind of fun, even to do a little storybook time series. And I also am, the older I get, becoming a little more interested in thinking of a creative way to start an oral history, just an oral history of my life. Again, something that, when my grandkids and great grandkids are wondering, tell me about Kibby. That's my grandmother name is Kibby. That these would be a great resource to go back and, you know, help them know who I was and where I'm from and what all I did in my life. And
Yeah, like with my sister passing away recently, like say if it were me instead of her, right? My family could go to my videos and they could literally listen to my voice
absolutely,
talking. They could
absolutely,
hear me talking about
the
family. They could
connection is
even hear
there.
me singing.
The
They could hear
connection,
me doing
yeah,
all kinds of stuff.
oh,
So
yeah,
that it is indeed my history. It also has recipes that are actually my family's
family recipes,
recipes.
yeah,
So
oh
my
yeah,
younger sister or her child or the grandchild or somebody there could come back and look at that history.
yeah,
And I've heard a lot of people say that that's not my original purpose for starting it, but it's a decent reason to be
oh,
doing it.
oh
I've heard
yeah,
other people say that was their reason to do it.
oh yeah. I think it'd be great.
Yeah,
Oh,
My
share with me.
Alabama Farm Life has another channel called uh, audio, something about audiobooks. I don't know if one of you moderators out there know her, My Alabama Farm Life, her other channel name. But anyway, she reads on that channel, but she reads on this other channel. I think she's eventually going to probably switch it all over to the one. But so she reads the Bible, but she also reads like stories and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And then I don't know, I started finding other people that read stories. And sometimes when I just want to not really think, but I want to hear something, and I put in a lot of time on YouTube. I give myself a little bit of a break and I'll listen to someone read something while I'm doing chores or something in the
Yep.
house.
Yep.
And so I got to listening to Anne of Green Gables.
Uh-huh.
And that was a cute story. Hello, Where to
Yep.
Begin Homestead. How are
Yep.
you?
Well, and so one of my favorite things, I spend a lot of time at the Late Horror Show. It's not all horror stuff because overnight he does streams of just old radio shows,
Mm-hmm.
the mystery shows and the detective shows and you know, he's even got another channel that's got some of the old comedy radio shows and that for me is a nice escape because I'm on YouTube a lot too. And
Yeah.
I do watch some other stuff. I love the true crime stuff and but that's a real treat for me to be able to just sit back and listen to these stories, listen to these radio stories, and not have to be working on anything or thinking of anything, just relaxing.
There are many rude things that I've heard over YouTube, but the most rude one I've ever heard was somebody said they don't like listening to people do their Tea Tuesdays. And I said to myself, that's so rude because that's when they're talking about their self.
Oh yeah.
That's when they're giving pieces of their self to you for
Oh
nothing.
yeah.
And when you say you don't want to listen to Tea Tuesday, that is so rude. That's like saying you don't want to know them.
Yeah.
I've heard probably like 5 different women say that. And I'm like, that's terrible. I feel like you could slap me right now because that is so rude. I'm like, that's when they're telling you stuff about themselves and you should be listening. You should want to get to know them. Because a lot of people on here are on here to connect with other people because maybe they're at home all day by themselves or they're lonely or they don't have any family or so many stories like that. And so when I hear that, and that reminded me of that when you were saying that, and I was like, she's going to look at me like, why are you saying that? But no, I've heard probably like 5 different women say that. And I'm like, that is so rude.
Yeah.
Because that's people's stories. And I think they're important to hear. Hello, Hogdeer79. How are you? So let's see. I saw you filming the bald eagles. How close is that to your house?
So the closest ones to us are about, again, an hour and 10 minutes or so south of here at the John Bunker Sands Wetlands Center. Now, those particular eagles have not nested in the spot where the camera is now for a couple of seasons. And then the season before that, most recent one that they hatched an eaglet, that eaglet passed away at just a couple of days old. So it hasn't been, it's not on my favorites list. It's one of the newer ones. I think I just discovered that nest maybe 3 years ago. And so I was real excited to get to see that first year I watched it, because it is close and it is a place where you can go visit. Now you can only go
I
within a
didn't
certain.
really even know they did that they were here in Texas, really.
Oh
I
God,
guess I
yeah.
just didn't
Well, the
know.
next closest one, I don't remember where Webster, Texas is, but there's an eagle nest in Webster, Texas. It's just in the backyard of a homeowner, and he's just got a personal camera set up. He's not on YouTube or anything, but he, captures the footage from the camera and then he puts it on his Facebook page. So the Webster, Texas Eagles have had a pretty good, you know, growth in people following that nest. And he's supposed to be, I don't think they're like out in the boonies or anything, but they did not have like high speed internet out there. They didn't, there was no, there wasn't a way to set up a camera for streaming. He just had to record it on his little, outdoor cam and then put it on Facebook. But he was supposed to be getting like Verizon Fios or something set up uh, sometime last month. I'll have to check the page and see if that ever happened. And once that happens, then I think he's got plans to start streaming it. So obviously, I'm going to be a big fan of the Texas nests just because they're kind of close. But
Yeah.
right now, my favorite nest is still the Fort Myers, Florida nest, the Southwest Florida Eagles, Harriet and M15. But they lost their nest, completely lost their nest in Hurricane Ian. So they've been rebuilding now. The camera, there is a camera back up in the nest. I think they must be building in that same tree, and they managed to save the camera. And so they're rebuilding their nest. It looks like they're still on schedule for laying some eggs later this month. Um, and that's my favorite nest. Harriet she's got to be going on almost 30 years old now. And then her mate, this is a kind of a new mate for her. They've been together 6 or 7 years, and he's probably 10 years old, give or take. But they've raised lots of little eaglets there. They've lost a handful of eaglets there too since I've started watching. And I always warn people, it's such a wonderful thing to watch. And I love baby animals, for sure. I love baby anythings. But it's definitely something you have to be prepared for, because there can be tragedies that happen and
Yeah.
predators that get a hold of the babies, or they get sick, or they fall out of the nest, or
Mm-hmm.
it can be really, really sad at times. But it's so exciting when it goes well, and you get to see these eagles do their amazing work raising these babies and protecting the babies in the nests, and then teaching them how to feed themselves. And it's funny to me to think these fierce creatures, I would not want to tangle with an eagle for sure. And
Mm-hmm.
yet when they hatch, they're so helpless in the beginning, and they have to have their parents with them 24/7 to feed them and take care of them. And I just love thinking about that, how they start out so small and helpless, and then they turn into these just fierce creatures that
Yeah.
rule the sky
Yeah.
once they leave the nest.
That's interesting. I love animals.
Yeah.
I think animals are like one of the number one things in shorts and
Uh-huh.
probably also in videos.
Oh yeah.
Because I literally, before YouTube, I'd never seen a goat birth or
Uh-huh.
I mean, tons of things. I'm like, even little diseases and treatments animals get and stuff like that. I'd never seen any of that until I started YouTube. And I'm like, wow, that's
Yep.
interesting.
Same here. Yep.
I've been very lucky, really, with my chickens, that I haven't had some of the things they've had. I did get a raccoon that got in my
Oh.
coop and killed 4 chickens. That was
Yeah.
about a year ago or so.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we lost a big number of birds to a bobcat here in the summer of 2020. And around that same time, we had a hawk get a hold of about four of the birds. Two of them just disappeared completely, but the other two, I think maybe the hawk tried to pick them up and carry them off, and because they're so heavy, I think he dropped them. It looked like they probably had been dropped from some height, and I mean, but they didn't make it. So, That
Yeah.
made me feel bad because my philosophy is, everybody's got to eat. Every creature has to eat. Every creature deserves to eat. And for all I know, these animals may have had babies they were feeding. So
Yeah.
I can be sad that we might lose a flock member, but I'm not one to want to just keep them caged up all the time. They need to be able to get out and swim on the pond and forage, on the back acre, and it's a
Mm.
risk we have to take. And I just remind myself that, they had hundreds or 1,000 great days, and then just that one moment where it
Mhm.
just all stopped.
Yeah.
So for them, it's not a sad thing. It's, they don't grieve, and they don't even seem to notice when one is gone, or they notice when we get a new one, when we add a new one, but they've never seemed to act like that impacts them when, for whatever reason, there's somebody gone from the flock.
Yeah. Yeah. Not that we can tell anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
We have ever since that happened, we have a live uh, trap, and so we've caught tons of skunks
Oh,
and quite a few raccoons and only one possum.
uh-huh.
So we catch and release them. They become our problem, and then there's somebody else's problem.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell
It
you
really
though,
is, you know.
the geese, it really is a blessing to have geese in the flock, because we lost a goose to the bobcat, and
Mhm.
so I heard the commotion right outside the
Thank
back
you.
door. So this wasn't even on the back acre. This was in our backyard, and the geese were screaming, screaming, screaming. I knew something was terribly wrong. So I walked to the back door, and before I even got out of the back door, who is that?
That's Curly Sue.
Hey, Curly Sue. Hey, Curly Sue. I'm thinking if he can look at the camera, maybe he'll see my
She's
hand too.
looking. Yeah, she's looking around. Like, what? I
But
hear something,
so I
but
was
what is
headed
it?
toward the back door, and before I even got out of the back door, I saw this bobcat and the goose fighting. And you know how sometimes you see stuff and it just takes a minute for your brain to even register, what am I looking at? And then I realized what I was looking at. So the next thing I noticed is that the other the one of the older geese, so one of the parents of the geese, was sort of herding all of the flock into their yard, was just, you know, squealing and moving so that they would all go ahead of him and go into their yard, while this other goose was fighting with the bobcat. So I ran out. I didn't even think. My biggest, the thing that made me feel bad afterward was I didn't even consider the dogs were in the house with me, and I just walked out the door. I didn't shut the door behind me, and the dogs might have gone out. I've since learned that the bobcat would not have wanted to take on 3 big German Shepherd dogs, so he would have taken off for sure. But I just walked right out there and ran at that bobcat, screaming and waving my arms. And the bobcat looked at me and then took off and jumped over the fence. But we did lose that goose. And there were 2 other ducks that I guess the bobcat had tried to get when the goose then went over and started fighting with him. And we lost those 2 ducks as well. And then again, there were other ducks that just disappeared, and so I'm guessing that bobcat had been around a while, and we'd been hearing stories
Yeah.
that whole year up until that point. A lot of neighbors that raised chickens, had shared with us, be on the lookout because I just lost my whole flock to a bobcat. Um, so I called right away. I called the game warden. I didn't know what to do or who to call, and my first question was, can we shoot this bobcat if he comes on the property? But we're still in city limits, and he said, nope, you can't do that. But do you have dogs? And I said, oh yeah, we've got 3 German Shepherd dogs. And he said, you need to be walking that property. You need to just be out random times of the day. Go out. If you've got boy dogs, let them mark everything and just make their presence known, because a bobcat will not want to take on a pack of dogs. So of course
Yeah.
the dogs
That's
thought that
good
was great.
advice.
Oh yeah, the dogs thought it was great. This was during the shutdown, so I was home all the time, and I would just randomly get up and think, oh hey, we haven't been out in a couple of hours, and we would just go walk the whole perimeter of the property, and You know,
That's
our
a
girl
great
doesn't
idea.
mark stuff, but oh yeah, the boys just went to town marking
That's a
everything.
great advice.
Oh, everything they could mark. And we never saw that bobcat again.
So that
So,
worked.
oh yeah. So now the hawks are still around from time to time, but I do think the ducks are all way too big for the hawks to carry off. And the geese really watch for the hawks. The geese will even see an airplane flying over real high, so small it's hard to see. And I'll look out some days and they're all looking up the same direction. And I go out and look, and it's because they're watching an airplane fly across the sky. So they know to watch the skies also. And I don't think a hawk would want to mess with these geese. These are massive. Our geese are really big Toulouse geese. Um, so I think the hawks are smart enough to know not to try to get into the flock with the geese around.
Yeah.
Yeah, Richard just saw a skunk out at the pond probably about 10, 12 days ago. I don't remember what he said he was doing at the pond, but he came in and he said, I was out there at the pond. You want to know what I saw? And I'm thinking, okay, is this a trick question? And I said, what did you see? He said, a skunk. Like he was within like 3 or 4 feet of a skunk before he saw him. And he said, oh, I just started to back up real slowly and quietly so that there wouldn't be a problem. Hey, Tony, how are you? Thanks again for everybody that's here today.
Hi, Tony and Farming HVAC and Nicole. So anyway, I'm trying to think if I have any more questions for you. I think I've covered most of them. What channel had the most influence before you started your channel? What channel influenced you to want to start a channel?
Roots and Refuge Farm.
Yeah, I've heard that name before.
I think Jess and Maya. I knew more about Jess. I think she was in a lot more of the videos that I saw early on. And that channel has just like exploded. I think when I came across her, she might have had 30,000 subscribers already, which is still huge in my mind. But I think she's like close to 500,000 subscribers now, maybe. And just her.
I want to say they were at the meetup and I got to meet them.
What's that?
I want to say they're at the meetup and I got to meet them.
Oh, I'd love to meet her. I'd love to do a collaboration.
Did she have a tattoo on her arm?
I think so. Yeah, she's got tattoos. Yeah. Yeah. And again, just a very unassuming personality. She's very, she comes across
very pleasant,
so genuine. Yes. She has a nice voice. She's not high energy. And so it's very calming and therapeutic to watch her. And I've learned a lot about gardening and about raising animals. And they have a large family. And she just, I feel like, is a very down to earth person. And they are pretty self-sustaining, I think. I don't know that, I mean, you know, they have a milk cow now and they raise chickens. And so
thank you, Sandra.
They have their own meat animals, and she always has a huge garden. And I was really motivated. And again, we'd had so many people telling us we should start a channel. Hers is not as animal focused for sure, but I don't have a great big garden. So one day that might be a bigger part of the channel. I'm dreaming of a big garden, but it has.
How many years have you been gardening?
Well, off and on my whole life. My grandparents on my mother's side always had a huge garden. They lived in the Texas Panhandle in Clarendon. Mm-hmm. And so when we were little, it was always a treat to get to go during harvest time. You know, as I got older, then I realized, oh, that's a treat for them too, because we loved going out there and picking okra and tomatoes and all of that stuff. And for them, they thought, oh, good, we don't have to do that. And we also, as little girls, my sister and I, we loved weeding. I mean, we pull weeds, just anything that had to do with the garden. And part of it, I think, had to do with that we would go and harvest this stuff and take it in, and then we'd have it for dinner that night. My grandmother would that night, she'd fry up some okra and we'd slice up tomatoes and put some salt and pepper on them. And I would just fell in love with the whole concept of gardening. And so I've always had at least container gardens. Off and on, I've had little plots. And we've got land here that we could use, obviously, but I'm having a hard time figuring out how to keep the ducks and geese out of a garden. We had raised bed garden last year and a fence around it, but lo and behold, walk out, as soon as everything started sprouting, and found one duck and one goose in the garden eating the little sprouts as they were coming up.
Even those raised planter things?
Oh, yeah. We have flightless ducks for the most part. Some of them can fly a little ways, and so they would climb up onto the edge of the raised bed and then just sort of fly and hop over the little fence to get in. And then the geese can fly. The geese fly out to the pond on the back acre every day that they go out there, and then they often will fly back up to their yard when I call them in for dinner at night. But I thought, well, I'm going to have to go to plan B. My dream is to have a greenhouse. And I've had various little greenhouses, just the little like vinyl covered ones. But I'd like to have a greenhouse, a proper greenhouse where I can just really grow whatever I want to grow. And then I can shut the door, and keep the birds out of it. Now, part of the reason I want a garden, there's some irony. The garden I had last year too, was that our ducks eat. I mean, they eat kale, they eat greens, they eat carrots, they eat a lot of things that I could grow in a garden so that I don't have to buy that stuff. The horses eat carrots and apples. And so I thought there's a little irony. I'm trying to grow a garden so that I can keep kale and stuff around for the flock, but they're eating the sprouts before they can even really turn into a plant. So,
yeah. I've done that. I fed some of the kale to my chickens. Uh-huh. I started a thing about 3 years ago. I saw somebody do a video on it where you take like a Miracle Grow bag and you cut it out like a picture frame and you grow right in the bag. You grow kale. You could grow other things too, but you poke holes in the bottom. So it like in the winter when I'm not growing a big summer garden, I grow the kale bag. I call it the kale bag. And I grow that on my front porch. So when I'm walking in or out, I can just pour some water on it and go on my business. Okay. And, if I'm coming in and I have a little bit of water left over in my bottle, I can just pour it on there, stuff like that. And that just makes it easy for the winter time. And then I usually try to compost and stuff during this time. So I'll be ready for spring.
Well, I usually grow herbs in pots on the front porch. And I like to have, I don't think you can ever have too many plants. Richard gives me a hard time sometimes because I just can't seem to help myself. But
my mom's like, don't you need a small garden? No, Mom, no.
We have a lot of wildlife here. And so usually the plants on the front porch, the rabbits, we have rabbits in the area, a lot of cottontails, and they just help themselves to that, which is fine. I typically grow enough. I still have plenty so that I can dry my own herbs and, use what I need as I need it. But
I'm growing some parsley on the front porch with my kale.
But that's a dream I have. I have a picture in my mind of this beautiful, huge greenhouse.
I'd like to have a real greenhouse.
Oh, yeah.
I had one for a little while, but it blew away because it wasn't a real good one.
No. Yeah, see, I want a good one. Good sturdy one that's going to withstand the stormy seasons and keep the birds out.
Yeah, withstand the Texas wind, the crazy Texas wind, definitely. Well, I have really enjoyed our conversation and getting to know you. So the last question I always ask is, do you have a question for me?
Well, I was going to ask you about what collabs you have coming up, but you've kind of already talked about it. I want to say I know of maybe 3 that are happening, right? And again, I think you may have already talked about them.
Yeah. So Arielle is hosting Christmas 22 is coming, and I'm co-hosting under her. And that one works a lot like Fall Fest 22 giveaway, except for it's worldwide and mostly digital prizes. The email to that collab is pinned to the top of the chat. If you're interested in joining, you can email that email and ask Arielle if she still is okay with you joining it. But there'll be videos going out all the way through the 12th. And so there's a whole playlist of people you can go through and enter all their giveaways, and they all have a specific word you're supposed to say in the comment section. So, and then all those people send in a semifinalist, and then a grand prize winner is picked, and they get a prize from all the channels that enter. So that's going to be a really cool one. Then Joy Blessed Life has one called Holiday Blessing 22. Also works along the same line, where the channel gives away a semifinalist prize and the grand prize. It works in the same type way. And there is still time to join that collaboration. And my collaborations video, where I talk about all these collabs, all the links to those playlists are linked in the video in the description box.
Okay.
Crocheting with LeeAnn has one called Thanksgiving 22 giveaway collaboration, I think is what it's called.
Okay.
That one works along the same lines, except for that one's USA only. And I joined that one with my coupon channel instead of my regular channel. And then there's a bunch of other ones. Holiday Beverage 22. And that one is Blackberry Rock Homestead, like a holiday beverage. Like I make one called Hot Spice Tea. So you make your holiday beverage and use that hashtag. So that's not really formal. You just make it with that particular hashtag. That's also linked in that video I was talking about.
Okay.
So that one's coming up. I have a few ideas for that one I want to join. And then what was the other one I listed in there? Southern Roots by Sherry has one that's a holiday candy making, Christmas candy. So she doesn't have the video out on that one yet, because I'm pretty sure that one comes out in December.
Okay.
But I do plan on joining that one.
Okay.
So
yeah, I want to get more involved in that, participating in collaborations and starting collaborations. So this Christmas project collaboration for us will be, I think that'll be the first one I've done.
Yeah. I hope you get a lot of people, and I
hope so too. I hope so too. I mean, obviously we'll have some stuff of our own that we'll put in it too, but I'm just picturing one that's got just so many little snippets of people's Christmases,
Yeah.
Just things that are
I'll
special.
try to do a little video commercial for that collab, so maybe you'll get some more people, because it's more fun. Because I know Jill's Small Gardening did one like this a couple of years ago, and it was really cool. And I think I did a little singing clip in there.
Okay,
and it was really fun, and I really liked it. And the thing that they put together was really neat.
Yeah,
and I'm guessing this will be like that.
In my head, it's really going to be sweet when it gets put together. So we just need submissions. I just need y'all to send me stuff, so I'll have lots to work with.
Yeah.
Well, this was fun for me too. Thank you. I was honored that you would ask me to be on the show, and just excited to get to spend time with you, because I've never gotten to sit down and just visit with you.
Yeah.
So,
I listened to your interview and I thought, oh, she's really neat. I need to have her on. And I think I was going to, and I dropped the ball a little bit, had a bunch of stuff going on. And I said,
me too. So I was just glad when you reminded me that it was a possibility, and I'm tickled to be here. And again, it's just an honor that you would ask me to come and join you.
No, thank you. Thank you so much. And if there's anyone that's in the chat that has a new channel, or a big channel or small channel, it doesn't really matter to me, who wants to come up and promote your channel, if you'll send me an email to, let me find the right banner for that.
And the same with me. I really am seeking out new channels, smaller channels for the most part, and having them on my Friday show and interviewing them and letting people meet them and learn about their channels, so that we can all help each other grow.
So just send me an email and tell me you're interested in an interview. I do have some dates in November and December. If anybody's interested, I'll pull you up for about an hour interview. And at the end, I always ask you if you have a question for me. So if you want to get a doozy ready for me, you have plenty of time. I don't think I warned her. Sometimes I'll email, in the email, I'll tell them, hey, you get to ask me a question. They'll think about it for a while and come up with one. I have been stunned a few times. But not too bad, because I keep asking the questions. So. But yeah, thank you. Thank you for coming up.
Thank you.
I will talk to
I'm
you
going to
soon.
head out and feed the flock right quick now before it gets dark.
Yeah, I need to go outside and check on my chickens.
And I'll be watching my Google Drive, so you guys send me some stuff.
I will definitely, and I'll do a little shout out commercial kind of thing for your collab. I think it's a really neat idea.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Bye, everybody. Thank you. Be blessed. Love to everyone from Richkat Ranch.
Okay. Thank you guys all for coming out, and please email me if you're interested in doing the collab. Hello, all Terran Coffee and Camping. I'm sure I probably said your name wrong, but I tried. Thank you guys all for coming out. I appreciate all of you. And you guys have a great Sunday. And Garden State Gardener starts in about 45 minutes. See you guys later. Bye, everybody.